it's your girl JJ here. Yep, JJ Simmons. And I am super excited to have this conversation with one of my dearest friends. I'm getting ready to get candid with Coach K.
Hey, I am so excited about today because I got my girl, Jillian JJ Simmons. No relation.
No relation at all.
You know you have to say it.
But you like my sister, though.
I know. I'm so happy. Thank you for letting me be like your sister.
Yeah, absolutely. We have the same birthday.
If they didn't know.
Yep.
Now they know.
So it's kind of like we are like twin sisters.
It's kind of like we are just
not.
Not. Okay, and the reason why I have JJ here today is because October is considered Domestic Awareness Abuse Month, and we are talking about a very serious topic called overcoming narcissistic abuse and how to actually recognize the red flags. Now, we both experienced this type of abuse in the past. Mm-hmm. Praise the Lord, we've overcome.
Thank you, Lord.
So let's just go into it because, first of all, some people don't even know what narcissistic abuse is. So explain that to them, JJ.
Oh, yeah. So narcissistic abuse, it's interesting because there's so many different ways that it can come about. So you can have maybe a child who was if there's a such thing as over love, but almost made to seem like they are the most special thing.
The best thing walking the face of the earth.
Since sliced bread. That's it. And so there's those types of narcissists, and then there are the narcissists who have the extreme opposite, where maybe they were raised where they didn't feel like they were ever good enough.
Right.
And so they were just trying to be good enough. So what happens is they have wrapped themselves into this cocoon that says, I am the best thing ever, because they are trying to tell themselves that's what it is.
Right.
When that isn't how they've ever felt.
It's really an insecurity.
It's absolutely, it's a huge insecurity and lack of self-worth and self-value. And so they come across as very charming, very good people. There's two places that they like to be. They like to either be the victim or the hero.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing in between.
Nothing in between.
Either I am like, I have saved 40 lives today. And you're like, okay. And then, or, oh my God, everybody's out to get me.
Everybody. Your mama, your friend, your coworkers.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you see a lot of CEOs are narcissists.
Yeah.
Sometimes narcissists can be extremely successful or quite the opposite. Sometimes it's very difficult for them to function.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm so happy you broke it down in that way, because a lot of times there are people that we may admire who are narcissists.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And sometimes they just don't even know that that's what it is, because they equate who they are to the success that they've had.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's a whole nother issue, because that's about identity.
Yeah.
But, knowing that there are a lot of people in different roles that may be a narcissist. Now, we understand what narcissists are, but what is it about narcissistic abuse that makes it a little bit different?
Oh, yeah. Because, some of the signs of narcissistic abuse are deflecting. So if you're in I don't want to say an argument, but maybe you're just having a conversation like, hey, I want to address something that you did. And then they're constantly bringing up, well, you did this.
Yeah.
I remember talking to my ex at one time, and he's like, you're always, I said something about you're always on the phone at 1 o'clock in the morning. And I see your texts going off, and I see women are texting you.
Yeah.
And you're always on the phone at 4 a.m. I'm like, with my sister? What? You can't even compare that.
Right.
And so.
Well, we both talking to women.
Oh yeah. Right. Yeah. And seriously,
it.
that. In their mind, they will just deflect very quickly. So that's one sign. So blame, also blaming, like you're just to blame for everything, you know. They're very, gosh, there's so many. I'm like, you know, narcissists can think that they are better than life. They're very entitled. So, you know, a narcissist might come into the room and demand to sit in the front row, you know, like, why
just because.
Yeah, it's like, wait, what? No,
You
you
didn't
didn't buy the
pay for these
tickets.
seats, bruh.
You didn't buy the
Yeah.
tickets. You didn't buy the tickets. And so that's one. Gosh, there's so many. They're very charming. So, you know, they make you feel so good. Love bombing. You know, you may feel like you could be in a relationship when something starts off so quickly.
Yeah.
And they're always maybe buying you things
Yeah.
or just, you know, oh my God, you are my soulmate. You're like, bruh, I
Yeah.
just met you yesterday.
Yeah.
Like, how am I your
but you
son?
already love me.
You already
Yeah.
love me? Already?
What did I do?
Do you
We did
even know
nothing.
my middle name?
Right.
Like, how did we get here? So, that is something to really pay attention to more than anything, I feel sometimes, because it seems like the perfect person.
Yeah.
You know, and I want to also just say, like, I'm using he because of my own experience, but there are women who are
Yes, there
narcissists
are.
too. And so, you know, for the sake of our situations, we're women, we're talking about relationships that we've been in. So that's something to pay attention to, because women, we naturally want Prince Charming. We want our prince
The
to come.
fairy tale.
We want the fairy tale. And so you'll see this love bombing happen, and then very quickly it just
Changes.
it's like a light switch, and you're like, wait, who
What
are
happened?
you?
Yeah,
Another thing is gaslighting, making you feel like you are crazy. And this is a big thing because this happens so often. You have, you know, for example, and I know this sounds so weird, but and I saw this in a movie the other day, and I was like, oh my God, that happened to me. And so my computer, one day I log into my computer, and it keeps saying my password doesn't work. And I'm like, why doesn't my password work? And I know the last person to use my computer was my boyfriend at the time. And so I asked him, like, hey, it's saying my password doesn't work. And he was like, I don't know. He's like, you know, did you turn off the computer? Did you turn it back on? Yeah, I did that. Like, what do you mean? Like, yeah, I did that. Well, maybe you should call Apple. And I'm just like, how is my password not working? It's been working all
the
these
time.
months, right? And so come to find out, he changed my
Changed your
password. So
password,
then,
yeah.
like 2 days later, well, why don't you try such and such? And it's just like, okay. And I type it in and it works. And I'm thinking,
Why would it be that? I didn't make it that password.
and so I saw this in a movie, and I was like blown away because the movie was about domestic abuse, and these are the things. This is gaslighting, where the person is making you feel crazy when you know, or making you question what you know to be true.
Right, that part.
Yeah.
And that even goes to, like, I think about text messages, because they will gaslight you through text messages
my
as well.
gosh.
Let's talk about that.
Oh yeah. And everybody is gaslighting right now. Like, this is such, it's funny how this term came about in 1966, I believe, from a movie where the guy wanted to divorce his wife, but I think in that time you could not divorce your wife. Like, it was just unheard of unless she had some mental issues. And so he created
The mental
issues for her. So what happened was, he would blow out the pilot light in the stove. So every time she would go to cook, she's like, I just had it on. Like, I know I'm not crazy. It was just on. And he would do it all the time, to where she started to feel like she was crazy. And then he's looking at her like, what is wrong with you? And she's like, it was just, and that is how the term gaslighting came about.
Wow,
it
I
was
didn't
from
know
the
that.
gas of the stove, the pilot light of the stove.
Yeah, I think that that's really great, because a lot of times you see people talking about gaslighting in reference to text messages, and how you are made to think that you're absolutely crazy, because they may send you something and you respond, and then they go ahead and hit that delete button.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You like, now you didn't
Nah.
see, she said, and I'm
And you're like, wait a minute, but
Where's my part?
Where's
Now it's
my
so
part?
easy.
Yes.
Or changing names. And
Names.
to make it seem like someone texted you that didn't text you.
Yeah, that part. This is a real
That's
thing.
an easy thing to do, guys.
Yeah.
I changed the name to whoever I wanted to be. Now it's like, no, that wasn't Keisha.
Right.
That was Thomas.
Right. And no, it wasn't. But it's so true.
Yep.
We're laughing, but this is something so serious.
It is.
So serious. So, okay, so you pointed out a few of the red flags of narcissistic abuse. What are these people supposed to do when they start to see these red flags?
Run. Get on a bike, a scooter. I don't care what you get on. Just go. I think one of the things that I wish that I would have done that I promise I will dedicate the rest of my life teaching women how to do is just trusting your intuition.
Yes, that part.
I had been in an abusive relationship in the past, and so when I entered into another one 10 years later, I saw the red flags, and it was much harder for me to just pay attention to my intuition.
Why do you think that is, though?
Because I wanted this so bad.
You wanted it.
And the good parts were so good.
Yeah.
That
you
I
were
was
overlooking the bad.
Yeah, I was just like, I'll just focus on the good. Give people a chance. When I went to therapy, and I'm so grateful for, she's now my friend, but she was my therapist at the time. But she said something to me. She said, I want to apologize to you because I thought you just had PTSD.
PTSD.
Did I say that right?
PTSD.
PTSD, girl, deal with too many letters all the time. Everything got to be an acronym. She thought I had post-traumatic syndrome. Okay. So she thought that when I kept saying, like, this seems so familiar. This seems so familiar. And I was still seeing my therapist every month. And I'm just like, this relationship seems so familiar. And she thought that that's
so
what
you
it
were
was.
saying this to her while you were in the
I'm
relationship.
like, this just seems like I've been here before.
Yeah.
And so she came to me, she said, gosh, she said, as therapists, we're taught to focus on the head. And she said, but in actuality, I should have told you to focus on your intuition and what you were feeling in your gut, because your body doesn't lie to you.
Yeah.
And so I would tell women or men, when you're in these relationships, you feel what isn't right and you have to act on that. And I made the mistake of bringing things up like, I had this dream. And I had a dream, and it was like so clear that God was like, leave this person alone. And what did I do? I go tell the person about the dream. Man, I had this dream, and what happened in the dream? And he's like, and of course,
and he's gonna tell you crazy.
I sound crazy. That isn't about me, and you have issues that you haven't worked out. And I was just like, I should have.
Yeah, it goes back to what's wrong with you.
Yeah, of course, and that's me. And this was very early in the beginning of the relationship. And I just wish I would have just trusted. I don't need to share that with anybody else, because I know what is true in my gut, and that was it. And I should have walked away. So I think if I could give one big piece of advice is you trust how you feel. When something doesn't feel right, and you can exit. You don't have to. You don't owe anybody anything.
And what's interesting? I always tell people that your gut is God.
Oh, yeah.
Because you feel it in there like nothing else.
Yep.
But just like you did, I did the same thing.
Yeah.
Tried to overweigh, the good things that were happening, to overlook what was happening that was so horribly wrong.
Yeah.
So horribly wrong. And just like you, JJ, I got the sign before I even got married. I knew.
Yeah.
I knew I wasn't supposed to do it.
Yep.
But because of what I experienced that first 12 days of knowing that person, I was consistently trying to go after that.
We're always, and that's what we do. We're trying to bring it back to the good times. And we keep telling ourselves, like, I can get it back there.
Yeah.
I know. And you're putting so much pressure on yourself.
Yeah.
The person that has shown up is the person that really exists, and you
Yes.
have to know that.
Yes.
It's not going to get back there.
Right.
You may have moments, like we had good days, even when there was 6 bad days,
Right,
there'll be that
right.
one
There'll
good
be a
day.
good
And
day.
I'm like, oh,
Yeah, here we
finally,
go.
a good day. Oh, good. But you have to pay attention. And I love that one of the tools my therapist told me, just as advice to give to other people, is keep a journal.
Yeah.
Start writing down so you can pay attention. This happened. I saw,
And
this.
you start to see the patterns.
Oh, yeah. And it gives you a reference for when you think, oh, this is still a great relationship, you got something to go to and
Like,
say,
no,
oh,
girl, it ain't.
this is not good. This is
Nah,
not
bro.
good.
It's not, bro. It's not.
It's not.
It's not.
It's
I
not.
love that you said that, and I think about like just even from my experience, so similar. Because listen, narcissistic abuse is narcissistic abuse, no matter who it comes from, and you're going to see the same things.
Oh, yeah. It's like textbook.
Yeah, and it's so important. I love that you said run, don't walk,
Don't walk.
get
don't
out of
skip.
Dodge. But let's think about those people that are in the relationship now.
Yeah.
And they may have been there for years.
Oh, yeah.
And they don't know how to get out because I know what this is now because you're explaining it to me.
Yeah.
But I really was just thinking I was crazy because sometimes he or she is really great. And then there are times when that person is so horribly wrong.
Yeah.
What would you tell them
Yeah.
in this situation?
I know how difficult it is to leave.
Yeah.
And I think that is something we need to talk more about because it almost feels like I relate it to like an addiction. Because just like you could tell somebody who's smoking, like, stop smoking, you know what it's doing to you. Or I could show you all the videos on YouTube of what your lungs look like.
Yeah.
Right? But a smoker would tell you it is not as easy as you think it is to stop
walk away
smoking.
from
It's
it.
like it's an addiction.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing when you're in a relationship with someone who is abusive. It is so extremely tough to walk away. It is possible.
Yeah.
Just like it is possible to stop smoking. It takes work.
Yeah.
And I think the first thing is really understanding and accepting what it is. You got to call it out. I'm in an abusive relationship. Like, this is what this is.
Today's show is sponsored by Stevens Court, a modern flex space rental available for rent on Peerspace. Whether you are hosting a corporate meeting outside of the office or an intimate gathering for family and friends, this remodeled 100-year-old home provides a historic touch in the heart of Houston. Schedule your event today.
And
Right?
that's the hardest part.
Oh, accepting.
To actually accepting
Yeah.
this is what it is. It's not
because it
everything
hurts,
else.
and we are so quick to put it on ourselves.
Yeah.
I know what it feels like to have the guilt of why did I stay in this relationship? Why am I here? Why did I stick around? Why did I waste all this time? Like, I know what that guilt feels like, but I'm going to tell you on the other side of that, relationship is peace, is joy, is a door that is open for unconditional love. And you just have to get on the other side of it. So one is just accepting. Two, creating the plan. How are you going to get out? You need your supportive friends, your supportive family members, and our keyword is supportive.
Supportive, yeah.
Because narcissists are so good at making other people think they
that
are
you're crazy, yeah.
Yeah.
Or isolating you from.
or isolating
Yeah.
you, where now your family is like nowhere to
like-
be found
right.
because you've been away from them for so long, same thing with your friends. Gosh, we should have talked about isolation because that's something to talk about, how it happens.
Yeah.
But creating that plan, like what are the steps? Okay, so I know if I leave, where am I going to go? A lot of people fear leaving because they have kids, and a lot of them know that father, that narcissistic man or narcissistic mother is such a good parent to the kids,
Right.
that you're just like, oh, I'll sit and suffer because at least this
Come
person is
on.
a good parent.
Come on.
and you deserve so much more, and that suffering will eventually affect you, and your kids will eventually see it.
Yeah.
They will.
Yeah, they will.
And so, so create the plan. Find where are you going to go when you leave. And you got to plan stuff out as much as you can. Don't have anything sitting around the house where they can see it.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's, putting it in your phone. There's all kinds of secret apps you can put on your phone to put some stuff in, but create that plan is the other. And then also, seek some help. And you can do that right now in the relationship, so that you also have that support system of a counselor or a therapist that's there to show you how you can get out, what things you need to say, how you need to set things up, so that you have a clear strategy for getting out of that relationship. And then I think, also it's just important to know it's not your fault. And, there's nothing wrong with you, and you got to get to a place where like, this ain't me.
Right.
This ain't got nothing to do with me. How that person treats you has nothing to do with you.
Yeah, and that's the big part right there, because a lot of times you may hear the negative things coming from that person.
Oh yeah.
And you start to believe those things.
Oh, it is the worst thing ever. Like, the feeling. I remember being in this relationship with this guy, and it was just, everything. You're lucky to be with me, and, nobody's going to want you. You're divorced. You're a single mom. And I started to believe it. I was like, I might as well stay with this sucker, because God,
wow,
who else is going to want me? And it's such a lie.
Wow. And you know what, JJ, I even think about the things that I knew I was great at. That I've been told. I've won awards for people development, right? I've won awards for being able to be a great communicator and motivating people to actually go and do their thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And my spouse at the time would tell me that I wasn't that.
See?
And said it over and over and over, to where I started to believe it. And I was like, how in the world did I get to this point? How did I get here? How did I get to this point?
Yeah.
And it starts with not actually listening to your gut in the beginning.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Not actually listening to your gut.
It's the most painful thing when you look back and you're like, man, I felt it, and I question myself, and I shouldn't have. I will never again. And now I leave situations so quickly. The minute that I see something, I'm like, pew pew.
Look,
all you see is smoke. All you see is smoke. Like,
and don't feel bad about it.
I'm at home sitting in front of the TV, happy, because I'm like, I don't have it in it anymore. I will not go through that again.
Right.
And I'm just glad that I have those tools, and I really want people to have those tools, so that they can recognize it, so that they can make that plan and they can get up out of there.
Yeah, and I love that you actually said, like, creating the plan, because I remember a conversation my second mom had with me when she decided to leave her husband at the time. And she was willing to. She knew that he would never let her go with her son. Her son was a newborn, right? And so she was like, she knew he only allowed the baby to go with her when she had to go to the store, because he wasn't going to keep him for long.
Oh,
right?
Wow.
And so she was like, she put the car seat, and was like, I'm just going to run to the store really quick.
Oh.
And she waited until he went to the bathroom, ran out that house so fast, got in the car. She had already had the car seat ready and baby ready, and never returned.
That's what I'm talking about.
Plan. And be willing to walk away. You can keep all that stuff. I get some more.
And
that's a whole nother thing right there.
I mean, all of that is stuff that you really got to know. It doesn't even matter.
It don't matter.
And when you see that it's your life, and for those of you who have children, know, and want the best for your children, and want to put them, prioritize them, you'll do what you got to do.
Yeah.
You just got to believe that you're capable of it, and you are.
Yeah, and you are. Y'all heard that? And you are. So as we wrap up, I want you to touch really quickly on isolation, because you did say that's important for us to know about.
Yes,
and then
yes.
we'll come to a close.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about isolation because I think there is this idea that isolation is you're not going to go out with your parents. Or you're not going to go see your mom.
That's not what it looks like.
And it is so insidious. It's so very smooth how it happens. And so I remember telling my ex, my boyfriend at the time, I said, hey, he was going out to a basketball game. And so he wasn't going to be at home, okay? And so I said, I had hit him up. I said, hey, I'm going to go out with Don. We're going to go to this casino. And he was like, oh, man, I just want you to be home when I come home. And I was like, well, I'm not going to be gone that long. You're not even here.
Right,
it's
right.
like, but when I come home, I want to make you some turkey burgers. Like, you know, I love his turkey burgers. He was good for some turkey burgers. So he's like, I'm going to do this and do this. And he was like, I just want to see your face when I walk in the door. And I was
That's
just
how
like,
it starts.
How
Sweet is that? Yeah. How sweet is that? Girl, look, I done been there. Like, as soon as I be like, you know, I'm going to sit over there at Granny for a little while. And he was like, really? I had so much planned for you today. You did?
You did? What
What's the plan? What's the plan? Because, I mean, it didn't look like you was about to do anything.
No. It's so smooth. And the next thing you know, which is one of the big reasons that led me to finally getting out of this relationship, it was because I started seeing how I was missing out in so many moments with my friends.
Yeah.
Like engagement parties and just all these significant moments. And I was like, dang, you know, it was so bananas. And so that was it. And so you have to, that's why it is so important to write these things down.
Yeah.
I didn't get to go see my cousin because blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So that you can look back and see it, like, because otherwise you'll
don't
miss
even notice it.
That's why it's insidious.
Right.
It's sliding on in there and you don't even see it happening until it's too late.
Right.
I lost friendships over this person, you know, and it is so painful to think like I lost friends because I could not show up for my friends because I was so wrapped into this cocoon with him.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, girl.
Look, she's lived it. She's overcome it.
I've overcome it.
Yes. And she's helping others do the same.
Yeah.
So, JJ, tell people how they can connect with you, because you are a self-love coach.
Yes.
And I'm loving it because I feel like you are able to actually use what you've been through to help others.
Oh, absolutely.
So tell them where they can connect with you.
Yeah. So I am JJ on the mic on everything: Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. I'm JJ on the mic fans. And my website is jjonthemic.com, but I also want to encourage those people who are in that type of relationship or even coming out of a narcissistic abusive relationship. Well, I would love for people to check out Without Bruises. That's my first book that I wrote about my situation with someone who was abusive and how I was able to overcome that relationship. My battle with depression, reaching out to my support system, the aha moment that I had that I was in an abusive relationship. So if you're in an abusive relationship, or if you're even just coming out of one, because that may be one of the hardest things to do.
Yeah.
The aftermath, right, is very difficult. But grab the book. I think it's a great resource. It's an easy read. My friends came to my book signing, and they read the book on the way back. Yeah. When they on their flight back.
I read it from like front beginning to end in one sitting.
See, yeah,
because that's the type of read it is.
Yeah, it's a very easy read, because I wanted younger people to be able to read and grasp you know, this type of relationship, so they can get the tools early. All the often missed signs of abuse is what you're going to find out in this book.
You all can get that on our website, Without Bruises, found on jjonthemic.com.
Yes.
JJ, I am so grateful to have you come on here,
you for having
being
me.
so transparent with your story.
Thank you.
Like that truly blesses my heart. And you were actually one of the reasons and one of the people that helped me overcome that relationship that I was in. So thank you, friend.
Thank you. Oh, I know, right? Please. Oh my God. Why are we so silly?
I don't know.
Y'all know what to do with us, because we just
Y'all
silly.
really don't know. But thank y'all for watching.
I love you, friend.
And make sure you follow my friend because she's doing some great stuff. All right,
you.
talk to y'all soon. Bye.